sir.
Very good afternoon. Very good afternoon. Yes, Dr. Vadavali Rao has come.
Sir, no, he has not joined yet. We are waiting for him to join.
Okay, no problem. I am also ready.
Sir has joined now.
Okay, good. Yes.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Patanji. How are you?
Fine, sir. Thank you.
और कैसा है?
बस ठीक चल रहा है सर.
Oh, wonderful to hear. आप वहाँ everything became normal in Delhi, or the
No,
new normal?
not yet.
Nowhere at.
Hello, Dr. Vadavali Rao. नमस्कार.
हाँ, नमस्कार साहब, कैसे हैं?
बस आपका बस दर्शन के लिए तरस रहे हैं कि अब ऑनलाइन ही देख लें.
तो आपका दर्शन तो अभी हो गया, मैं जाऊं?
औरों को कराना है ना आपका दर्शन. So nice. Congratulations for getting the presidentship.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon,
Good
sir.
afternoon.
How are you?
I'm very fine, thank you.
So can we start?
Yes, start.
Okay, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. I, Shweta Mittal, on behalf of all the QIP coordinators and organizing committee, welcome you all to the valedictory function of AICTE-sponsored 34th Quality Improvement Program. It was a 6-day program dated 30th September 2020 to 8th October 2020. It is a moment of great privilege and honor for me to extend a heartfelt welcome to all of you to the valedictory function of 34th Quality Improvement Program. The theme for the 34th Quality Improvement Program was New Era in Pharmacy, discovering the importance of pharmacy profession in the COVID pandemic scenario, with an aim to provide an insight to the fellow pharmacy teachers about the recent developments in various facets of the healthcare profession. Now, I would like to request Professor P.K. Sahu Sir, QIP Coordinator and Head of Department Pharmaceutics DIPSAR, to kindly welcome all the participants.
Thank you, Shweta. Good afternoon, all the participants, and good afternoon to the respected chief guest, Professor Rao Vadlamudi, our Vice Chancellor, Professor R.K. Goyal, Director of DIPSAR, Professor D.P. Pathak, all my fellow colleagues, faculty members of DIPSAR, and all the participants of this QIP program. This QIP program started on 30th September. The topic of the theme of the program was New Era in Pharmacy, discovering the importance of pharmacy profession in the COVID pandemic scenario. During this program, we tried to invite very good speakers. Starting from day one, we have invited Professor B. Suresh and Professor Katare, Professor B. Suresh, President of Pharmacy Council of India, as the chief guest to inaugurate the program. Then the speakers like Professor Katare from UIPS Punjab University, Professor Gajendra Singh from Rohtak, Professor D.H. Purushottam, ex-chairman of NRDC, Professor Sanjeev from NRDC, Professor B.S. Bhoop, again Punjab University, Professor Saur Beg, Jamia Hamdard, Professor Arvind Bansal, Naipar Mohali, Professor Javed Ali, Jamia Hamdard, Professor T.V. Narayana, IPA, Secretary IPA, Dr. Renu Agrawal, International Health University, Malaysia, and speakers, Professor Madan, MD Rohtak, Dr. Atul K. Nasa, Drugs Controller of NCT of Delhi, Rohit Datta, Associate Dean, GD Goenka University, Professor R.K. Khar, Professor Nidhi Sandal, Scientist in Mass, Professor Biswajit Mukherjee from Jadavpur University, Professor Aruna Nanda from Rohtak, Professor R.B. Kakde, Advisor AICT, and he is a professor of Nagpur University, Department of Pharmacy, Nagpur University. And today morning, Professor Biswajit Mukherjee and Dr. Pallav Datta. And very happy to announce to all that we have the chief guest of the valedictory function, Professor Rao Vadlamudi. We are very happy that our beginning was with a great personality of the Pharmacy Council of India President, and our valedictory is with also with a great personality, Professor Badlamudi Rao, who agreed and accepted our invitation to be the chief guest. I will not speak much about this program. Professor D.P. Pathak, the principal coordinator of this program, will give the what is the objective of this QIP program, with what intention it is started in AICT, and how it is delivered through various centers spread 12 centers all over India. In fact, when I was in AICT, that time this concept of QIP was developed, and thereafter it was implemented through different centers, and so far it has trained so many pharmacy teachers in the recent developments of developments happened in pharmaceutical education and pharmaceutical research. So with this, I welcome all the delegates and our Vice Chancellor, Professor R.K. Goel, our Chief Guest, Professor Badlamudi Rao, to this validatory function. I thank all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your kind words. Now I would like to request Professor T.P. Pathak, sir, Director DIPSAR and Principal QIP Coordinator, kindly welcome and grace the audience with his words. Please, sir.
Very good afternoon, respected Professor Badlamudi Rao, our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Ramesh Goel, Coordinator of this QIP, Professor P.K. Shahu, Professor Dipti Pandita, Professor Dr. Satish Manchanda, and my fellow pharmacy colleagues. Delhi Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences and Research is a constituent institute of DIPSAR, which is recognized by AICTE as All India Nodal Center for Quality Improvement Program. In Quality Improvement Program, short-term programs are organized with an objective to brush up the knowledge of academicians of AICTE approved colleges. We have tried our best to justify the purpose of conducting quality improvement program by AICTE. I hope the delegates have enjoyed the virtual academic feast and surely benefited from it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your keynote speech. Now I would request all the participants to give their feedback on the 34th Quality Improvement Program. Please unmute yourself and keep your videos on while giving your valuable feedback. I request all the participants to come up one by one to give their valuable feedback.
Hello, good afternoon. Hello.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, Dr.
Good afternoon,
Vishwan.
sir.
Sir, Pranam, sir. Actually, myself, Vishwaranjan Mohanty from IPT Salipur, Odisha. This online programs in this pandemic situation learned many things to us. We are now expertise in all computer works, which was one lacuna for us, and we have enjoyed all the lectures, and all are very beneficial. It will be beneficial for us. Thank you, sir.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes,
sir,
Dr.
you are
Padman.
Hello, sir. Very good afternoon to one and all. Myself, Dr. Padmanabh Deshpande. I am from AISSMS College of Pharmacy, Pune. First of all, I would like to congratulate DIPSAR for arranging such good and informative quality improvement program for all the teacher fraternity. All the sessions which were conducted during this QIP program were very informative and excellent. The coordination among the team was very good. And thank you very much for such wonderful quality improvement program, which enriched the teacher fraternity with all the sense. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, Dr. Ranjan.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Yes,
Good afternoon. Yes.
Sir, myself, Dr. Anjan Kumar Giri from IPT Salipur, Odisha. So, actually, it was a nice event that we have witnessed since a few days, and the speakers were very informative, and we got much exposure out of this. Sir, very nice, sir. And we are looking forward to join the next QIP also. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable feedback.
Yes, and Dr. Anjali Singh. Anjali
Yes.
Chand, please.
Yes, sir.
Yes, welcome. Yes. Please go
I am
ahead.
Indrajit Chand at Helgapur. At first, sir, I congratulate all the mentors and such encouraging session for us. It's I am quite grateful for this encouraging session. So in future, I am also, if I am get the opportunity to involve in these sessions, so I will be very happy. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable feedback.
Shweta, if no other feedback is there, you
Any
can
other
request.
participant want to tell anything?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, please come.
Sir,
Dr.
myself,
Dr. Sahu, please come.
sir.
Namaskar, sir.
Namaskar, namaskar. Oh, Subhasri Sahu.
Myself,
Yeah.
myself, Professor Dr. Subhasri Sahu. My identification first is I am student of Professor Dr. Prabhat Kumar Sahu.
Oh, great.
And I am HOD, Department of Pharmaceutics, KMIPS, Raukla. So, sir has inspired me a lot, and all the sessions are very inspiring, and I have learned so many things from all these sessions. And I am very grateful to sir and you also, sir. Thank you, sir.
Great, great. Thank you.
Thank
great.
you very much, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am, for your valuable feedback.
Thank you.
All the
Dr. Ashwini, you
participants.
can continue. Dr.
Yeah,
Ashwini.
any other? Dr. Dipti, Dr. Ashwini Kumar?
Sir.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, everybody. Myself,
Yes.
Dr. Ashwini Kumar Senapati.
Yes, please. Yes, go ahead, please.
From Institute of Pharmacy and Technology, Salipur, sir.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great pleasure since we are enjoying all the sections from last week, sir, and all the sections are very nice and informative, sir. So we have a good, we got a very good exposure on QBD, and today for natural product extractions and advancement from Pulok Mukherjee, sir, and we come across with very nice sections, sir. We got very good deal of knowledge, and with the COVID situations, it's very difficult to get exposing practically to your institute and to especially to DIPSAR, sir. So in 2014, I come to New Delhi, and I met to number of sirs with the DIPSAR, sir. We have a very good sharing with DIPSAR, sir. If we have a very interest within us to visit your DIPSAR, sir. My pleasure to have participation with this QIP program, sir. Thank you, everybody who have got great experience, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable feedback. Anyone
Yes.
else want to give
Anybody
their feedback?
else? Any other participants want to say anything, express anything? Yes, Dr. Praveen Moga.
Yes, sir. Myself, Dr. Praveen Morankar from SMBT College of Pharmacy, and previous QIP program also I was attended, and this also I attended due to the previous one was very good. And in this QIP, I found that the novel things are there regarding the 3D technology as well as the yesterday regarding the whatever grants we are getting regarding that also we have got an idea, and that is one of the most important part in our academics. For getting grant is very important, and I congratulate to the team of DIPSAR for arranging such a nice QIP program. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Any other participants want to say something?
Hello.
Yes.
Myself, Dr. Saroj Kumar Patra. Hello.
Yes, please. Yeah, go ahead.
And QIP is very nice arrangement, and all the scientific session and all the noble speakers are also given the idea, latest idea regarding the COVID, QBD, AQBD, and all the scientific sessions are very nice expression. And I got the so many knowledges and regarding the scientific way, regarding the plagiarism and copyright, everything. So this is very, very interesting arrangement for all the teachers. So we can improve our academic, scientific research also. So it is very nice arrangement for the teachers. Thank you to all, sir. Namaste, sir.
Namaste. Now the last, anybody can give any suggestion for the future improvement? Anybody, even from our own faculty member or anybody, if they want to tell that, okay, in future you can add this or you can delete that. It can be either way. Anybody?
Hello, good afternoon,
Yes,
sir.
good afternoon, Dr. Abhishek. Yes.
Sir, it was a very nice program and scheduled very in a very essential aspects, that all the essential aspects are covered in this program. And in future, I would like to say that some of the future practical aspects that is to be incorporated regarding the teaching pedagogy and all. And rest of the all the topics, even the Khare sir is speaking about the mental health and the spirituality in the studies and all. That is also a good part, and we have to more concerned about that, how we can improve the quality within the pharmacy education, and as well as how we can increase the involvement of the students during the study, as well as how we can connect the education program with the community services. That is also important. So these are my suggestions.
Very nice. Any others? If there are any suggestions, we don't want to listen that yes, it was good. We have that many have told. Any other pointed suggestion if any participant has got? Yes.
Myself Indrajit Chand.
Yes.
Yes, sir. If the virtually, if any kind of experiment which is in our curriculum in B pharmacy, at least it can be possible. If it can be possible, that how can we execute this practical with the students? if it is possible to by these series of session, that how can we teach our student practical knowledge by providing such virtual platform on the basis of this virtual platform.
Thank you. Thank you. Good suggestion. Yes. Yes. If there is anything else, the suggestions are still welcome. Otherwise, we will request Sweta or Dr. Thakur. Here, please. Yeah, please. Anybody? Yes.
Dr. Roshini from I have a suggestion that sir, DIPSAR arrange any type of pharmacology QIP, sir. Pharmacology based QIP.
Pharmacology. Sorry, I could not. We did not get. Can you repeat, please?
QIP related to pharmacology, sir. Drug development.
Yeah, it was there, but it was a separate program. This was having a little focus on more pharmaceutics. That was the reason. We had actually 4 such QIPs. And so the pharmacology was a totally, last week it was all pharmacology, wherein we had about 100 participants. Actually, it crossed that times. I mean, so that was there. But we will have a little admix of even the pharmacology. That's what we are trying to do. But we went in a little limited way because we had extensively covered. Thank you, but good suggestion. Yes. So yes, Dr. Sweta.
Okay, thank you for your valuable feedbacks and suggestions. Now I request Honorable Professor R.K. Goel Sir, Vice Chancellor DIPSAR, QIP Patron, to grace the audience with his insightful and kind words. Please, sir.
Thank you. At the outset, I will welcome my own friend, a very well-known figure. I will say our QIP program started with the president, national president of PCI, and the valediction is with the president of the international personality, that is the Commonwealth Pharmacists Association's president. So we all, on behalf of all the participants, on behalf of myself and all the DIPSRU staff, I first congratulate Dr. Vadlamudi Rao for being elected second time in succession the president of the Commonwealth Pharmacists Association, which is again a pride for the nation also. This is what I will start with. Well, I will also like to introduce also a little bit more before I come to my comments. My association with Dr. Vadlamudi Rao is almost like 37 years old. I remember when I went first time in Vancouver as the postdoctoral fellow, John McNeil, the common guide, supervisor, the entire University of British Columbia, the people in pharmacology, they are all talking about Dr. Vadlamudi Rao. What dedication he had. And I must tell, I don't know how many of you are knowing, and especially because this is a crowd more of pharmaceutics more than the pharmacologists. That was the time when first time the effect or the correlation between diabetes and hypertension was a talk, was the time when these two topics were talked with for their correlation. I am talking the entire world, not just India or anywhere or in Canada. It was only 3 labs, Neely's lab in US, John McNeil's lab in Vancouver, and Winnipeg, Dr. Dhalla's lab. They were involved in this aspect. And Dr. Vadlamudi Rao did a pioneering work in that field, establishing the model of diabetes, establishing the correlation, first time developing the method of how you can measure the cardiac functions properly and how it is being affected in diabetic rats. So that is the beginning. I know he is more known for many other laurels which he got, the editorship, the way in which he has brought the standards of our journal of IPA, the contributions which he has made in the Indian Pharmaceutical Association, it is tremendous. But to me, I still admire as a great scientist rather than anything else. And he never accepts if he has not done anything in the science by himself or not involved. He will not say that I should be even giving a lecture for that. This is the kind of personality, and that I remember in 1979, 89, when I invited him for one lecture in psychopharmacology. He said, I have never worked, I will not give lecture, whether you call me or not. So this is the kind of science, the dedication, the research, the way in which he has spreaded the message, how to write properly the articles, do that. This is what is about the Vadlamudi Rao. His very presence in even the variety is an honor to us. And it's a message to all that, yes, be ethical, be honest, be dedicated, and be a lab worker rather than the laptop worker. It will be the laptop working on the lab, the top of the table, not the laptops which we are using. Well, this function I must compliment and congratulate Dr. P.K. Sahu. He brought the galaxy of people, and the two names are already there, but the whole program was encapsulated in such a way that first is the befitting with the title, that is the era in pharmacy, discovering importance of pharmacy profession in COVID pandemic. Yeah, pandemic has changed many things. The suggestions of Dr. Dadich or this that was that we can have something on the practical pedagogy and all, but the because of pandemic, because of the virtual, there are some limitations also. But very good suggestion given by Indrajit Singh Chand that virtual experiments can also be shown, and that is what maybe in the, I hope that by next year this thing goes away, but still the virtual practicals experiment can be designed, and that will be our job. We all collectively think how to do that part. And then coming to the other good suggestion about the pedagogy and the mental and health, spiritual, all these things, they are again, we will be definitely taking it. And some admix of little pharmacology. I'm thankful to those who have given the suggestions also. Now, with respect to new era, yes, there were a couple of lectures related to COVID, what pharmaceutical sciences, what pharmacy profession can do, and already done, and it has been doing for last 6 or 8 months, which have gone in. But the new era in pharmacy, with respect to new era, the very important topics were covered. That include the artificial intelligence, the 3D printing. I really enjoyed that lecture again. I myself attended that also. QBD, quality by design. Again, if somebody is in pharmaceutics, post-graduation, and if he is not having the concepts clear about the quality by design, I think he is incomplete. Everybody has to have that. And I was very happy that whole day was kept for that. And I wish that some practical training could have also been there at that time. But certainly, this is the real purpose of a quality improvement program that is required. So this is something which is great, and of course nanolipids. And then today we had another very good important speaker, Dr. Pulak Mukherjee. Why? Because the COVID, when we talk of the COVID, even today there is a want, there is a need, discovery of the new drugs for the COVID. We are not sure. Remdesivir the way in which the reports are coming in, it is not satisfactory. So vaccine has its own problem. Even if the vaccine comes, how the entire population will be vaccinated, or it is again a big question. So the only answer, the African way, what we talked in the morning, or how the indigenous health, indigenous herbal thing are going to work. This is a big question, and I am happy to say to my friend that we have developed one product, and we are expecting the clinical trial to start this week. This is what is something which is going to come up. But this is something, a collective efforts of our team at DIPSAR and DIPSRU. We are working hard that we also provide something, at least, if not, I don't know what will be the outcome of the clinical trial, but yes, but it is entering into it. One of the objectives of any quality improvement program is to give something on the pedagogy, teaching, learning, and research. And that was also well taken care of in this program, as it is apparent from various lectures on thinking and questioning skills in teaching, learning, grant writing, how to get grants, IPR issues, the plagiarism prevention, the performance indices in research publications. All these things were well covered. So I definitely am sure that all those participants who are there, who attended, they must have enjoyed this. I know when it is virtual, we are not having proctoring. Like we have currently the exams are going on and we have the proctoring of whether you are really attending or not. This thing cannot be done here, but still, I am sure that the number that we have 60 plus numbers already present in this valedictory function also speaks by itself that no, everybody have been attended. Everybody has been very attentive and they have attended with the interest. Many times it happened rather when we were taking offline. I mean, in the physical presence, I will not hesitate and feel ashamed to tell that many times we have to shout at the people that please come and join, the speaker is waiting for you sometimes. So this time it is something exactly, I mean, it is much opposite. Like even in like all, this is the third in a row, I mean 35th program, but 34th program, but even third in a row without any break. And it is all the time 70 plus participants there on the screen. We can see that. So this has been the great, I mean, it is heartening to note this and how it can be it is so successful. So I must compliment all the team, Dr. Pathak, who has been instrumental behind and bringing the program for years together. It is going on, and Nodal Center for PhD. So we are really pleased to have, and Dr. Vadlamudi Rao is also our UARC member, University Research Committee member also for the PhD programs. So his inputs are also again going to be very much valuable even at this stage. And so with these words, I welcome him to deliver his keynote address. Dr. Vadlamudi Rao, please.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
I hope I'm audible and visible.
Yes, yeah. Yes, definitely.
With clarity.
With clarity.
So, first of all, I would like to thank Professor P.K. Sahu for inviting me to be the chief guest at the valedictory function. I came to know about the QIP only yesterday. Then, of course, when he said I'm calling from DIPSRU, then automatically I would say yes. That's my association with the institute.
Thank you.
Even before it became a university. as well as that it's of course my friendship and close association with Professor Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor R.K. Goyal, whom I call Ramesh. And Ramesh asks, I won't say no. And the times I have come there and interacted with Patak Saab, the discussions we had on the research aspects, and I still have some very good friends, and one of your faculty members probably claims that she is my student. I don't know, but she's a very good colleague, good friend, and it's indeed very pleasant experience for me. Every time I was there in DIPSAR, and this time, of course, virtually I'm there. I'm sitting in front of Ramesh Goyal. And from the way the QIP was talked about by the principal coordinator, by the chief, by the program coordinator, by none other than the Vice Chancellor, and the participants, clearly indicated that it has served its purpose. And one very important aspect Professor Ramesh Goyal just mentioned is that you're seeing more participation in such programs on an online platform compared to the QIPs where people attend in person. It is true, when we are attending in person, we have so many distractions that time. And if you are there for 7 days, 8 days, or even 2 weeks in DIPSAR and attending programs one after the other, I mean lectures, at one point your attention wavers and says, why don't I go for a small break or a sightseeing, or Qutub Minar is so close by, why don't I just go there and come back? Kind of distractions will be there. But now in the COVID situation, we learned that we are staying home most of the time, and we are confined to the four walls of the house, and the only connection for us with the outside world is not the laboratory talk, but a laptop. So that is how we realize the value of being there, participating in many programs like this, and absorb whatever you could. For that matter, entire last week of September was a very busy week for us, because FIP virtual took place, and also several meetings, the Commonwealth Pharmacists Association annual general meeting, as well as CarePharm Forum is another pharmaceutical forum that I am associated with. And a lot can be achieved through online platforms, particularly through Zoom or through any other platform. In a way, that is something that we learned. We're forced to learn, but we learned, and we professed, and we really do quite well on online platforms, thanks to COVID. Because there was a time when people were very, very, what should I say, skeptical or inhibited to speak in the computer. And nowadays, people have become really, really comfortable in talking to people in the computer. I'm kind of a person who would like to speak in front of an audience. When I look at the audience, and I start to get a little bit of excitement and a rush of adrenaline to say certain things. In the beginning, to speak into the computer was a little not so exciting, but now I realize that that message goes through several people. So it is very important. So therefore, I have no doubt that the QIP programs on the online platform could be very, very successful. Sometimes more successful than the classroom type of programs. So I think that is what is coming out from the interactions with all the participants in this particular program. Of course, there are some questions about, how do we do, how do we witness, or how practical experience can be provided. I think that's still a challenge because, as Dr. Ramesh Goyal has initially said, he reminisced about what has happened 40 years, 45 years ago in Vancouver in my PhD lab, because Ramesh Goyal went to the lab soon after I left. I graduated and left. So he actually feels the vibration in the laboratory, what we had, but that cannot be provided. That's a on the bench experience and on hand experience of working in such labs cannot be provided through internet platform. Because there are certain skills that you need to be gaining by getting your hands dirty, and such skills can be achieved only that way. But however, we know that in the aviation industry and in the car industry, automobile industry, as well as even in the defense, in the space research, a lot of things on on-hand experience is achieved through simulations rather than actually traveling into the space or flying the plane. So such things are possible. Maybe pharmacy profession also would get to that level where we can provide practical experience through simulations, where you experience actually you're doing the experiment, but and then gain the on-hand or direct experience of performing the experiments yourself. I have requested the the coordinator about the topic of the program, and the topic of the program seems to be quite exciting, very interesting. It's a challenging topic. It is new era in pharmacy, discovering the importance of pharmacy profession in the COVID pandemic scenario. It's an apt topic, but I would say a few words about that. What is pharmacy profession and how pharmacy profession has to face what challenges and how it copes up with the COVID pandemic situation. It is a very fresh and very recent phenomena. The reason because many of us in our lifetimes have not seen a pandemic situation. We might have heard about it, but we have not seen. So therefore, there is no experience to bank on. So usually, if suppose somebody has gone through a couple of floods or a couple of landslides or a couple of tsunamis or cyclones, would know how to face a cyclone when it is impending, because we have our past experience to bank on. But currently, there is no such experience. So pharmacy profession per se has faced, I think, 3 or 4 challenges, and it took them a while before they could, overcome those challenges and start functional again. First, how you perform your day-to-day activities in a pharmacy profession. Now here I'm defining pharmacy profession as the life of a pharmacist, whether the pharmacist is in the pharmaceutical industry or in a research laboratory or a teaching institute, a student or a practicing pharmacist, whatever, or a drug regulator, doesn't matter. All are performing certain activities in the profession. And suddenly you got this pandemic. Suddenly you got all the restrictions. Suddenly you had to follow all those, restrictions to keep you safe. Work with, masks and follow hand hygiene, respiratory hygiene, maintain social distancing, etc., and be confined to home or go to work but wearing or fully equipped with personal protective equipment, blah blah blah, whatever. That itself is a tremendous experience, new experience, because we do not know how to perform. We do not know how to breathe, how to talk, how to walk, how to run, or how to go for a morning walk wearing a mask. Even today I have seen people are not comfortable speaking through a mask, so they will pull the mask down, and put them back up. This is not only faced by the normal population, but it's also faced by the pharmacy profession all over the world. Pharmacists are first line contact to patients when it comes to, dispensing drugs, or even when there is an ailment. In many nations, people, the common public, would approach your friendly neighborhood pharmacist for an advice, even before going to a physician, which is true even in India. Although the practicing pharmacist is not as very well defined as in certain other countries, because a practicing pharmacist in the Western world, or in Europe or US or Canada or UK or Australia, wherever, he is a pharmacist. And here we have a pharmacist in the pharmacy store, or we have a certificate in the pharmacy store sometimes, So we have to be, when I speak very openly, and I call spade a spade, because we cannot actually pretend that we are there when we are not really there. That's very important. The first line contact with a possible COVID carrier, has put pharmacy profession in tremendous risk. Right? So world over, the WHO or the Federation of International Pharmaceutical Associations, FIP, or any other, like even my organization, Commonwealth Pharmaceutical Association, or Indian Pharmaceutical Association, they all were trying to develop certain guidelines that how a person visiting pharmacy can be kept safe, and how a pharmacist serving such people can stay safe. When we talk about pharmacy, academics, and education, you see, we have done something. We just stopped education. We just stopped everything and say that, hey, wait a minute, no classes, no classrooms, no students, don't go to work. But in pharmacy profession, you cannot tell a pharmacy practitioner, a practicing pharmacist, not to go to work, because he has to go to work. You cannot ask a regulator not to go to work, because he has to regulate. A manufacturing pharmacist has to manufacture. Because if you remember, initially our country was hit by, when the lockdown was introduced, it was hit by disruptions of supply chain. It was very essential that pharmaceutical industry continuously works, because people, in addition to their disease burden, they have added another layer of people who are suffering from COVID. So therefore, all the medicines that we are using are essential, necessary in the quantities and quality that is necessary. On top of that, we needed more to treat COVID patients. And at that time, we really do not know, what medicines to be given. These are the challenges. And from those, what have we learned? This is very important, because they would make a path for you to move into future, into post-COVID, or the new normal that is going to establish after COVID. Very essential. You know, even in the beginning, from the shops, even crocin was not readily available. You know, no sanitizer was available. You suddenly realize the importance of hand sanitizer and run to a medical store or any other store and they say that no, we don't have. Masks were essential, and then you ran to a pharmacy store or any other store that supplies masks, and they said masks out of stock. You know, such type of panic buying, such type of panic situation. You know, pharmacists have tied it through that. You know, Indian pharmaceutical industry really worked very well under those circumstances. And the government also, we have to commend the government, because government also very quickly, you know, cleared all the obstacles that are there in the supply chain, etc. Because essential raw materials, medical shipments were all stopped at different borders, and you know, that's one experience. I think that's a very valuable experience. Tomorrow, if at all, you know, God, you know, forbid, you know, if another such situation arises, we know how to manage that. Then comes the biggest question to a pharmacist. What is the treatment for COVID? We know that it's a virus. It's not exactly the same virus as similar virus as other viral infections. That's why we call it as novel coronavirus. Although we are familiar with coronaviruses, we have been stricken with coronaviruses or infections caused by coronaviruses earlier. This is novel. You may be interested to know, or probably you already know, that some of the coronaviruses cause the common cold. And these coronaviruses are similar in their outer structural features, and some of the viral proteins are slightly similar to the COVID virus. So there is a possibility of people who suffered common cold caused by a coronavirus which had some a distant cousin of the novel coronavirus currently causing COVID-19, and there could be some antibodies in that individual's body, and that would actually protect him against these viruses, the infection. And rightly so, we are observing that, you know, the responses of different individuals to the COVID infection is very different. You know, some people respond very violently, whereas some people just tidy through that infection as if nothing has happened. You know, this is another great learning, you know, for us. And we have been in the country, our pharmaceutical industry, particularly, we haven't paid much attention to the biologics industry where vaccines are manufactured. We always take pride of our pharmaceutical industry as supplying to each and every country in the world of generic medicines, quality generic medicines, and is really is a pharmacy of the world, but more so the vaccine industry, because our vaccine industry provides 60 to 70% of the vaccines that are necessary for the global vaccine requirements. But you know, the vaccine requirement on a given day of a normal population is very limited, because vaccines are necessary for those people who are prone to that condition. So that means all the kids require immunization. So there are so many vaccines, and then for all the newborns, you provide that. And some vaccines are given to people who are traveling to areas that are endemic, and flu vaccines that needs to be given periodically, pneumococcal vaccines, there are so many, you know, vaccines. However, developing a vaccine for coronavirus is a huge challenge, because we are looking at immunizing the entire global population, which is about 7 billion. So we are really looking at a vaccine that is effective needs to be produced in doses of 7 billion. You know, this is another huge challenge, and pharmacy profession is intricately involved in that. That I want to indicate, because we really have to look at how we face the challenge of performing 7 billion immunizations once the vaccine is available. Before that, how we produce 7 billion doses of the vaccine. And suppose if the vaccine is not effective with one single dose, but it requires 1 or 2 booster doses, that means we are tripling the number of doses that needs to be manufactured. Of course, as you know, today, almost 140, 150 candidate vaccines are under different stages of development, with perhaps about 9 vaccines are in phase 3. One vaccine is already approved in Russia, the Sputnik V vaccine, but it's not really considered as a vaccine, has passed through all safety stages of, all stages of clinical trials that include safety evaluation, because after phase 2, they declared that the vaccine is effective and released. We have at least 4 or 5 vaccine candidates in different stages of development in India, at least about 4, of which one is in phase 3, that is by Serum Institute, and the other 2 or 3 by Bharat Biotech, Zydus Cadila, and one more. Serum. 3 candidates, out of which there are several 3 or 4 other candidates by Biological Events and Indian Immunologicals and several other companies. I know, in the vaccine tracker, you will find all those things, but they are in preclinical development. What I'm trying to say is, the pharmacists and pharmacy profession is going to face a challenge of how to provide this many doses of vaccine, as well as all the requirements, all the accessories necessary for vaccination, because most of these vaccines are intramuscular. You might have already noticed, So intramuscular vaccinations require a hypodermic needle, a syringe, and all the paraphernalia of disinfection and disposal of all these things. Now, we are not talking about in smaller quantities, because when you look at the scenario in government hospitals, waste disposal is a major issue. But tomorrow, we are talking about 1.4 billion vaccinations in our country, then waste disposal is going to be a huge issue. So pharmacists in manufacturing, pharmacists involved in distribution, pharmacists involved in regulation, pharmacists involved in dispensing or providing point of care, pharmaceutical care to patients. They all will have a tremendous demand and tremendous challenge. Of course, the academics and the teachers and researchers are not lagging behind. They are now facing how to start and run classes, provide the quality education that they were providing under normal circumstances, because under no circumstances the new graduates coming out of the institutions with bachelor's, master's, or research-driven degrees should not be any inferior in quality than those people who went through regular classes and regular laboratory sessions, because we cannot accept a lowering of the quality standards because of an impending or a pandemic situation. Just like we cannot expect lowering of quality standards in pharmaceutical industry, or lowering of supply chain standards, or lowering of vigilance by regulators. So therefore, how to cope up with is a major challenge, and pharmacists can also be involved in rapid testing. But in India, it's not happening. Elsewhere, they're already talking about, can a community pharmacist deliver a COVID rapid test? Of course, there are certain challenges in doing that, because you are coming in direct contact with a suspected patient. So you expose yourself to the risk of, getting caught by yourself. So there should be training necessary. All these, there are, and are we involved in vaccinations? In our country, we don't do that, but elsewhere in the world, we are already talking about the workforce that is necessary to immunize patients or population against COVID would be pharmacy. In fact, in my organization, Indian Pharmaceutical Association or CRPharm Forum or CPA, Commonwealth Pharmaceutical Association, we are already in discussion to see whether we can deliver immunization training courses to equip our pharmacists to manage this situation, to do that. And of course, the biggest task would be convincing our government that pharmacists and pharmaceutical scientists are more than capable than any other healthcare professional or healthcare worker to do these tasks. Convincing them is a major. It's easy to handle pandemic sometimes than convincing the government. These are my personal opinions, but I think I'm sure many of you would agree. So therefore, my dear friends, we have very challenging times ahead of us, particularly to cope up and face the pandemic situation without lowering our guard and without lowering our quality standards that we, profess day by day. I take this opportunity to thank all of you for giving me this, and I hope I conveyed some message to you, which may be fitting with the QIP theme. And I once again thank all the organizers and DIPSAR for giving me this opportunity to say these views also. Thank you very much.
Great. Yes. Thank you very much for elaborating the challenges, the suggestions also how to face the challenges with respect to COVID, with respect to how to take it further, even if the vaccine comes, how to take further the medicine. So all these things, it is our duty. We have to see that how we take the profession for further, pharmacy profession further, and to tap various areas in a rightful way. So I think others may be having to say something more. I have already talked a lot, but so I welcome. Over to you, Dr. Sahu, please. Go ahead. Yeah, Swati, please. Sweta, please
Yes,
go ahead.
Thank you, sir, for your enlightening and motivating words. It is a pleasure having you on board. Thank you, sir. Now I would request our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, Professor R.K. Goyal, sir, to kindly felicitate our chief guest with a certificate.
Shweta, share the certificate.
Yes, ma'am, share. Sir, you are new, sir.
Thank you very much. In fact, if you had mailed me this, I would have taken a printout and held it in my hand. Thank
So
you.
we plan to send you through mail also and through post also.
What I mean is that if you had done that a minute earlier, I would have taken a printout and holding as if you have handed it over.
Sure.
That's
yes,
how
sir.
we make virtual things look real.
Virtual.
So that's a very good idea. We'll be doing it in future.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Then you have to send a printer to everybody. You cannot have a printer handy.
Yes. A time will come when, like after the meeting, there used to be some snacks or tea, coffee, or after that the lunch break. So you order the lunch through Pizza Hut, that all the participants should get the pizza at their doorstep and then have a lunch together online.
Ramesh, when the
Yes.
program started, my wife brought me a cup of tea, and then I asked her whether Ramesh asked you to give it to me.
Yes.
Dear participants, this is how I interact with Ramesh. So please, keep the sense of humor up all the time.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Dr. Shatish Manchanda, sir, 34th QIP co-coordinator, to kindly place the audience with the vote of thanks. Please, sir.
Thank you, Shweta. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you
Yes.
are audible.
Now the responsibility of vote of thanks has given to me. First of all, on my behalf and on the behalf of entire DIPSARU and DIPSAR family, I would like to thank our chief guest, Professor Rao, for gracing the occasion. Thank you so much, sir. Now I would like to thank our patron, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir Professor R.K. Goyal, who is always full of energy and ready to guide us anytime. Thank you so much, sir, for your guidance. Thank you very much. I would also like to thank Principal QIP Coordinator and Director DIPSAR, Professor D.P. Pathak sir, who is always there to support the team for the smooth functioning of the program. Thank you so much, sir. Now, the thank is for the showman, Professor P.K. Sahu, Coordinator 34th QIP program. He's the man behind this whole successful show. I would like to thank him for gathering such a wonderful galaxy of speakers and renowned chief guests. Thank you so much, sir. I would also like to thank Dr. Meenakshi Chauhan, co-coordinator 34th QIP program, as she has managed the things besides her poor health. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your efforts. I would also like to thank the members of our IT team for smoothly running the program. Thank you, Professor Deepti Pandita, Dr. Gaurav Jain, and Dr. Saurabh Daya, the pillars of IT team. I would also like to mention the name of Assistant QIP Coordinator of 34th QIP, Dr. S. Lata, and QIP cell staff members, Ms. Saroj and Mr. Rahul, for all the hard work. I would also like to thank our student volunteers who are doing hard work for the program, Ms. Monica, Ms. Shweta, Mr. Mahendra, Mr. Nishu, and Mr. Gaurav. Thank you all. Thank you so much. Over to you, Shweta.
Unmute you.
Shweta, you are mute.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your kind and thankful words. Thank you all. I would like to thank all the participants, all the speakers, and all the chairpersons, the chief guests for joining us for the 34th QIP program. We promise you to bring such more programs soon. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
The certificate for the participants will be sent to your mail. The certificate of the participant will be sent to the mail. Please wait for that. We'll be checking the attendance and we'll be sending the certificates. Thank you.
Okay, thank you all for your presence. We are going to now end the meeting. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Right. Yes.
Host, you may end the meeting now.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Rao, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome.
गए ऊपर गए
Rahul sir and Pathak sir.
Bye, Ramesh.
To say something.
Okay. Bye. मिलते हैं. Bye. Let us leave.
I think Rahul sir wants to say something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sir.
Okay.
Rahul,
Please.
sir.
Sir, please unmute yourself. Pathak sir. Sir, please unmute yourself.
I thank Professor Vadlamudi Rao for joining us as chief guest, and I thank Professor R.K. Goyal, Vice Chancellor, for joining this. When I came to this office, there was some office work. I was signing those documents from our director. Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Bye, sir. Pathak sir.
Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Namaste, sir.
Namaskar.
How are you?
Sir, we are ending the meeting now. Thank you.